Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 41 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, and Durance wanted to speak to us. Let's talk to him. Does something ail you? I have questions I want to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
I saw something strange. You were sitting by a fire, and I saw a great light from your staff.
Tell me what you saw.
It's a flash like an explosion. A rushing of air incredibly bright.
It is the light of the Godhammer you saw.
The Godhammer? What about it?
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, a symbol of their independence. It saved the Deerwood.
What do you know about it?
It brought the Saints' War to an end, knocked a god from his perch. There are few that would deny Eothas overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Eothas of it. You saw its light because I helped shape it, give it life, and release it into the world. Once seen, its glory is almost too bright to be believed, and too bright to be forgotten.
You helped build the Godhammer?
There were 12 of us. We fashioned the weapon, drafted plans for it, prayed for guidance at Ashfall, and it came to me there. Each of us were given a staff made from the forest of black trees around us, glowing with embers and fire far greater than this branch you see now. It felt as if the staff was Margaren's own finger, guiding my hand, guiding the other 11, the shadows of the 12 who would come to stand on the bridge to stop Eothas.
Shadows of the 12?
Even in that stand, there was a ritual to it. For the 12 that stood on the bridge, there were a dozen shadows cast, a dozen faithful of Margaren, her fiercest supporters and shapers of the Godhammer.
Durance interests the staff in front of him, and the flame atop it curls for a moment, the light flaring in slightly. It splits into a ring of flames, one after another, until a dozen is met.
As 12 held Eothas fast, we 12 unleashed our prayers and let the Godhammer fall.
Then it blossomed brightly, once, and resumed its candle intensity. In the aftermath, the shadows seem sharper in the vicinity, as if their edges have you blink to clear your vision. Durance is still staring at the tiny candle-like flame, intently.
Shadows cast by the fire of the Godhammer, perhaps. We shared their fate as well in time. Now the spine of the Deerwood is marked by the Godhammer, marked by Margaret.
What do you mean, shared their fates?
Not all deaths come with stilled breath and stilled heart, or other stilled passions beneath the waste. Some deaths come from silence. The connection we once shared with Margaren, after the light of the Godhammer, it was not the same. It was as if we'd lost our senses, and sense of purpose as well. Instead of victory, being welcomed, there was silence, within and without. Not many can claim to have killed a god. It is less a heroic tale than you would think. And such a death, it changed our faith. All faiths, I expect. Doubt followed, and the world changed. I do not believe Margaren was pleased by what we had done.
Why is that?
The world is broken, the wheel stilled. There is sickness in the world's heart. Perhaps the price of crossing a god. Crossing two gods. Even as Margaren shaped our hands, perhaps we carried her will farther than was allowed. Just as Widewind did. Saint Widewind. Mortal arrogance to match mortal arrogance. Yet if the world had changed, then I sought to change with it. If I had forgotten some of Margaren's teachings, I would find them again. I would make her see me again.
What did you do?
I remembered Margaren's teachings. How reminders on the flesh were more important than the death of a vessel. And I wondered if killing Eothas, if that had simply set him free. Had it allowed him to escape his punishment and be taken on the wheel? Like a mortal? As I stepped from the now blessed Godhammer Bridge, I thought of Ashfall. I thought of the War of Black Trees, wondered if I needed to be burned to find myself again. That is Margaret at her heart. At least that is my hope. These are the doubts that befall me.
What happens when you return to Ashfall?
The road to Ashfall is long.
Sorry.
Gives one time to think. And if you think long enough, you do not go home. I left without telling anyone, with only the robes I wore at Halgot, my staff, and my name, which is long buried. Of my fellow 11 craftsmen, disciples, I know not what happened to them, if they suffered the same doubt as I did. But it was underserved. It was wrong. We had done all that. Had asked. Grab victory from defeat and...
You feel as if God has betrayed you.
There is something about being used and cast aside. Perhaps Widwen himself felt it. There at the end, when the hammer struck. To be the proof that your god is hollow as the vessel it inhabits. I tried to find purpose, and avoided all contact with other Magranic priests. Did not seek the walls of Ashfall, and sought to make amends to my god through actions. I joined with the Purges for a time, and not long after came the first signs of the Hollowborn. So many crimes, trespasses, violations. The Salvation. Animancers were another sickness born of the Saints' War. A relapse of innovation, of desperation to heal what we had caused. All seemed worse than before the bridge, not better. And as years passed, the world became even worse still for the victory.
Now I see why you call your goddess a whore. She jilted you and you still patting for her. Sweat collectively the sweat collects in the sooty creases in his forehead and runs down his roby cheeks. It drips from the tip of his nose. His mouth moves, but his utterance makes no sound. He is, for once, at a loss. Feeling your gaze, he quickly composed himself, wiping his forehead with the back of a dirty hand.
Worship the whims of some fickle bitch, and you'll never be more than dirt beneath her feet. Worship what she worships, on the other hand. Take her fire for your own, and her esteem comes on its own. Of course, by that time, you no longer need it. Trial and transformation, sure as Durance taught.
Durance glares at you, and staring into his eyes gives you the feeling of peering over the edge of a great cliff.
You think to put the coals to my feet, but what's burned once will never burn again. These talks are your trial, Watcher. You cannot deflect the truth to one who has already been purified by it.
Tell me what happened on the bridge. We chose the bridge because we could have controlled it. Durant's hands tightened at the top of the staff as if he's holding it by the neck. It was a place where we could choke Eophas in his own footsteps, where we knew his feet would fall. A narrow neck of stone. But it was more than that. It was the spine of the deerwood, symbolic of its backbone. Such symbols are important in the construction of a weapon. Durance studies his staff, his eyes travelling along the etchings. Any weapon. Durance's face hardens and his eyes burn, his eyebrows narrowing. I suspect Eophas knew that as well, and so did his vessel, in its arrogance. His hand tightened on the staff. He had determined to walk upon the bridge as if walking on the backs of the deerwood, and we intended to burn him with the light of our faith. And his. 12 on the bridge, 12 in the shadow, and gave ourselves onto it. Gave yourselves to it?
We put much of ourselves into the Godhammer. Such a device is not simply a machine. There are elements of the spirit in it. Even Widewind's spirit.
Elements of the spirits?
Each of the 12 who brought the Godhammer forth would have done anything to save the Deerwood, save its people. It is why we were chosen. Each of us hated this pretender. That rage, that spirit, that rebellion went into our work, and went into studying him as well.
Widewin, why?
We all studied Widewin. He was our enemy, and he had provided the flesh the god wore as a cloak. That flesh made him vulnerable. I knew what fields his hands had tilled, his family, what he had harvested, where he had been born. We sought to know him, what had led him to fight us.
Why was that important?
You don't kill the god. You kill the man it inhabits. And you leave that man a ruin. Burn him to ash. The weapon was meant to not only burn his flesh, but it would burn his soul. And it did. At the cost of our own. And at the cost of our goddess's favor. That whore be damned.
Sounds as if you fell victim to your own weapon.
Perhaps your eyes were blinded by the truth of the Godhammer, Watcher. I feel half a man at times, but even that is twice that of most others. If you fear for my spirit, your fears are baseless. The Godhammer, seeing its light, only fueled my anger and made me stronger, made me re-examine the teachings of Margaret, put them in a new light.
It looked as if it looked as if there was only half part of you, as if your spirit had been sheared in half.
I do not need you to cast any more questions on me, Watcher. Nor did I ask you to look upon me without my leave. Get gone, and leave me be.
Bit fucking rude then, mate. Bit fucking rude. But anyway, let's go to the end, ladies and gentlemen. In the last part, we got a message. Let's go speak to him. We got a messenger. He came to the Caed Nua because we wanted to change the scenery, and then the Chancellor Warwick, I think his name is, wanted to speak to us. Warren. It's Warren or Warwick. It's probably neither of those, is it? That's not him. That's not him. There. Oh, it's Warren. Lord Aldwyn, what brings you to Brackenbury? You sent a missive? No, I didn't. I received a missive from you. The Chancellor sets down his mug of ale and looks at you quizzically. As far as I know, nothing has changed regarding your rightful possession of Caed Nua. You realise that the charred brow has gone quiet and turn to see the last of the patrons quickly disappearing through the front door. A moment later, a group of armed men and women stride into the tavern. Oh dear. The Chancellor quickly ducks behind the table. The woman leading the armed group lowers her cowl with one hand while keeping the other on a pistol tucked to her belt. You immediately recognise Gaffbin's captain. Now the sheep has been herded from their pen, you and I can conduct our business, unfortunate as it may be. What do you want? Oh, I think you know. Lord Gaffbin has ordered your death. She forced a frown. A shame, really. I admire your exploits, even if only half of them are true. Sadly, I have my orders. Gaffbin will lose. You should work for me. The man is swine, albeit noble, wealthy swine. Her lip curls in a feigned disgust. Were I to do it again, I doubt I'd have taken him with him. But what's done is done, and Lord Gaffbin is as ruthless as he is arrogant. He'll go to great lengths to avenge a betrayal. What could you offer me to make such? Fuck my words. What could you offer me to make me consider such a risk? A better life, serving an honourable lord. Tempting, but your honour is no match for Lord Gaffbin's wrath. Let's get this over with. And our tank is the complete opposite place to the battlefield. As it's pretty much fucking like at this point, if our one character who's meant to be at the front line isn't at the front line, then we're doing it right. Go this way. There you go. How can people in this game not fucking path correctly? It's not even that hard. I kind of feel bad that we have to kill her, but All of you focus on her. There we go. Oh, she did. She like fully dead as well. Durance, you're probably really fucked. Like, if I'm honest. Aldwyn, you're probably fine if we're honest.
Let's go.
Pops, go attack there. And Durance died because Durance is shit. I mean, Durance speaks a big game, but he's really not that good. I want my health back, you prick. Wow, I actually got no health that time. Oh, fuck, there it is. Holy shit, I'm getting my ass handed to me here. I got my ass handed to me. Let's Necrotic Lance him, please.
Lavaru, be on seek!
You know, you could just, use the spell instead of, being awkward.
The dwarf's taking all she can!
Right. Cast Worm, you fool. Get Necrotic Lance again, please.
Stand still.
Holy shit! Actual worm. That's fucking cool.
I shall deal.
That's actually really fucking cool. Apparently this doesn't hurt my allies, so let's use it.
Aye?
Huh, not the ones I expected to stay standing, but... what can you do? Well, that was unexpected. Warren emerges from beneath his table and smooths the rumpled sleeve of his robe. It does make the strange reports I've received from the gasp make more so much sense in context, however. Go on. Earl Bademir decided to keep an eye on Lord Gathbin's activities. Gathbin has been hiring a lot of men recently, but for what purpose we can't say. I'd advise you to take extra precautions at Caed Nua. He may be attempting to place spies or saboteurs within your walls. Be wary, Aldwyn. I don't think you've seen Lord Gathbin's in-game yet. He swallows the rest of his ale and gives you a curt nod before heading to the door. Well, I'll have no argument about some good free shit. So let's quickly do a... that's the wrong person. Let's quickly get a rest.
Greetings.
Let's see rooms, please. We'll take the extra will this time. The newest upgrade in our stronghold's done. Good as even more defense, and I want this, but at the same time, it's like, let's get some more defense, like the Southern Curtain Wall, 4 days, or towers. Perception bonus from the south, from the west. Do we have curtain walls to the north or anything? No. Okay. Hedge mains, chapel, artificer hall. Curio shop, merchant hall, dungeons. Got the barracks. I think one of these two. That one. All right, so let's. We need to get on. Oh wait, whoa, we haven't looted everyone. How dare we forget one? So we're gonna get ourselves back to Caed Nua, and I'm probably gonna have to end the part there because I didn't really think the talk with Durance would take so long. Nor did I think he had so much to say to us. I'm very disappointed that I got my head kicked in, though. That upset me. If we did enough traveling around, we could get all the stuff built quickly. But that's just cheesing, and I don't want to cheese it. I will play the game properly, like you're meant to. Mostly because I don't mind at this point. It's actually I'm enjoying myself, so why not? Golf the
Keeps
Drunkard.
coming along nicely.
So, Golf the Drunkard, a local inebriate, has wandered to the stronger grounds. He's asking for help with his accumulated debts. Oh, fuck him. The western wall would be this one, so we fix this, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, nothing else is fucking fixed in this place. Fucking. I wouldn't pay, so they set my crops on fire. When my boy tried to stop him, they knocked him over the head. He's alive, but he can't think straight no more. Your boy got lucky. My guards, good men both, got put to the sword after they surrendered. I paid those folks what they wanted, but they still took everything I had. There he is, someone pointed to you, and all their eyes in the crowd turned to hostility upon you. Can I help you people or something? We don't need help. We just want you to leave us alone. We want justice. Go on. You sent your men to my farm to collect a crop tax, saying we were overdue. For me, it was a road toll. I've been travelling up and down this way for years, and this is the first time I've heard such a thing. Other people in the crowd chime with similar stories. Those weren't my men. Then whose men were they? What makes you think I'd sent these men? They said they were acting on the orders of the Lord of Caednua. That's you. If this happens again, it's not on my orders. You heard it directly from me. Say we believe you. What about we've lost? What about my crops? And my goods? And the families of my guards? Share this amongst yourselves. Most generous of you, my lord. The villagers nod and smile at you, uttering thanks as they distribute the coins between them. Wait, did I lose 3 prestige then? Ah, angry mobs, the inevitable thorn in every ruler's sides. Hey, Aldwyn. What brings you to Caednua? I have news about Lord Gathbin. Let's discuss in the Great Hall, away from the curious ears. If I lost prestige for being nice to people because I couldn't be bothered to deal with them, then that's fair. That's fair. We got a quest. Let's oh shit, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Quest. So let's assign this one to. We'll give it to what, Asme again. Go off the drunkard. He wants me to pay off his debt. I don't have money at the moment, so you can fuck off.
Huh.
I mean, I have... Like, the thing is, we have loads of goods to sell. And we're going to be selling anything that isn't unique at this point. Like, we have a lot of... I'd say we have at least, like, 4 or 5 grand's worth. Maybe 6, depending. We also got this, yeah, mace. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have 4 left in this pie. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next pop. See you guys then.